Hello folks, this is Chip here. Thought I'd sit down and do a video today on things that I found this spring. These aren't part of it. This is just a case I had out. I was looking at some of my past finds. This really nice bone awl. And this really cool bar amulet. It was broken and salvaged. You can see where the original hole was there, or went through and broke, and then the guy re-drilled it and kept using it. I bet that mark had something to do with that break. But beautiful piece of banded slate. Look at that. There's the work on this end. I've shown this before in past videos. It's always nice to get things out and revisit them, you know. But I wanted to do a video on what I found this spring. I haven't had the opportunity to do it, so I figured I'd get everything out that I found this spring and go over it with you, you know. So here we have a thumb scraper, hafted scraper. Little bit of work right there. So all the work on the end. And take a little bit of time and look at everything, because for people that are new to the artifact hunting world, you know, it's nice to see that not everything is shaped like that, you know. There are flake tools, there are an array of things that can be found that all part of the Native American culture. That's a little bladelet right there. I'm going to pick that up. I've got a whole little jar full of these. I want to get enough to make a frame, just nothing but bladelets. And they can be longer and they can be a little bit shorter, but they're usually a long drawn flake with a ridge on it. And you'll see like a cutting edge on it, where they used to skin the animals that they took to feed their people. Here's another thumb scraper. Thumb scrapers are usually pretty identifiable because of the rounded edge, and when you flip it up you can see all the flake scarring and the work. And then sometimes you can look down the other edges and you'll see work. I've found some, Mike's found some that's been worked almost all the way around. You can see they just took a piece of material. You can see how it goes like that. It was drawn off probably in the spalling process or whatever, because it's thicker, and then they would just use the material. They weren't wasteful because material was very precious. So looks like maybe a little bit of work right there. Another thumb scraper. This one's interesting. You can see right here, there's the bulb of force where they struck it, and there's the platform right there. Try to get you a good look at that. There's your platform right there. That's what he was looking at when he struck that. And then you can see that bulb right there. The bulb of force. Drew that flake. And then they worked it. You can see right across here. May have been damaged over time by farm equipment, but that is also a scraper. They use to scrape hides for getting the hides ready to make clothing and stuff out of, or whatever they're making out of it. Pouches, sacks. And then this little guy here. Kind of hard to see, but you can see the work across there. That's a little thumb scraper too. There's that rounded edge I was talking about. And then you could, like I said, you can see all the flake scarring to it. So you always pick up your flakes, always look at your flakes. This, I don't know what exactly this is, but you can see it's got that wavy edge all the way around it. I don't know if this is a finished thing, like a little knife or a little handheld, finger-held knife, or what exactly this is, but it was something, or it was on its way to being something. It's not, I mean, it could be perhaps even a little itty-bitty preform, you know? But it does have that wavy edge. It's what you're looking for all the way around. If you got a wavy edge like that and you can see flake scarring, it's something. They were working at it. Found this broken drill base. I wish I'd have had all of that. And that's nice. I mean, it's probably only, maybe that much longer, I would think. It couldn't have been very big. It's nice material. That was laying right on top. Sugar quartz. We don't find much here in Michigan made out of sugar quartz. It's, kind of rare, but they did work it because there's a nice thumb scraper. Here's what I was talking about. It's worked down this edge, it's worked down this edge, and it's worked across the front. So they could probably just use it at any angle. Sometimes these would have been hafted to pieces of bone wrapped on so that they'd have a handle to use it, but probably more so than not, my thought is they probably held it just like this, scraped it, scraped the hide, scraped the hair off the hide, scraped the excess meat and fat, whatever, off the hide, and was able to prepare it. As you can see, all the work. So to find anything sugar quartz in my area is fairly rare. I do have bits and pieces of points. I think I got one whole triangle that's sugar quartz. But in all the years of hunting, I only have a small handful of anything made out of this. Kind of translucent too. You hold it up, you can see through it. So that's a nice piece. This here piece, I don't know if it's a piece of a gorget or a pendant. I don't have enough of it to say, but it's really, really nice, well worked, polished. But it, as you can see, plow broke, and I don't have either hole, so I don't know if it was, how much more of it there was, whether it could have been, this much or that much, I mean, I won't know. I am going to go back to that field and keep looking, because when this is kind of wet, this thing has a nice color to it. It's like a brown. Here, let me see about just running some water on it a little bit here real quick, and you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, you can see it brings out the color in it. It's really very nice. I'd like to had it all, and there's a chance the rest of it's still there, so I'm really, really hoping to get it all. I've kind of really looked this thing over for etching too. I don't see any ancient etchings on it or anything that would represent ancient culture times. This is an interesting piece. I found that in the same field I found that in. The patina on this, it's an old piece. The patina on this is really nice here, but if you look across the end, the patina changes. So at some point in time, another Native American found this piece and worked it off on the edge. So it goes to show that even the Indians found other Stone Age artifacts and reused them from a different time period. Because there's examples found of notched clovises and other things. So yes, the other ancient American people found more ancient items that came before them, or from, you know, another time frame, and then they just used it for their own purposes. It's kind of cool. I mean, the napping on this is much newer than here, because you can see the patina here, and then it just suddenly changes where it was reworked into a scraper. So, you know, and by the judging of it, they may have found this in a creek, because that looks like creek staining to me, and then I found this in a farm field. So there's that. And then we'll get on to the goodies here. I found this out at Big Sandy. There's a video on it, but I thought I'd give everybody a little bit closer look. Local material. That edge is gone. That edge is just gone. But it's old break. I don't know. I mean, I doubt it was manufactured that way. I really doubt it. I think it just, maybe when they used it, it was a fracture in the material itself, and the impact, it just broke off. Perhaps, but I don't believe it was made that way. But the patina on it's very, very old as well. It looks like from the same time as when the point was made. And you can see here, this could have been broken manufactured. That patina is really old too on that ear right there. You can see it's worked off on an angle. So that could have been made and manufactured that way. Not everything is a plow brake, because they didn't produce everything that was perfect, you know. So, and if they got this far and they broke a little bit off, of course they're going to use it. They're not going to sweat it. They're going to use it. It was a tool for survival. This I found on a hunt in Ohio with Mike. This is really nice material. Mike found a couple killer points out of that field. I found this. I think he's got three points. I think all in one trip. I think between the two of us, we found 4 or 5 points between the two of us. Plus that flake tool there come out of it, and I believe that one did too. So, you know, really, really nice field. First time we ever hunted it, and we did pretty well. So you'll see more videos of that in upcoming years as we're able to get out there and hunt it. Looks like it's got like a nice little bullseye on there. I'm not even sure of the material type. I've never found another point made out of this in this area. So, but it's kind of weird how, you know, material travels in, is traded up and traded in. I find stuff from Flint Ridge, Ohio up here. This is a Ohio find right here, just missing the very tip. A little chunky. But you know what? It did the job. Whatever, I'm sure whoever made it, it worked for them. You know, something this big, I would think it's probably a knife blade. I doubt they threw this. It's too heavy. I highly doubt it's Adel dart point. But the material's kind of cool. I like the little lines in it. You know, could have been chunky just because it was a hard piece of material to work. And I found this in another field here in Michigan. Almost looks like it's a bifurcated point. Almost looks like a McCorkle, but I'm not going to call it that. I'm not really good at identifying specific point types too well. You know, I'm more into the time frame, whether it's you know, early Archaic, transitional Paleo, things like that. And the serrades on this is just killer. This is somewhat of a translucent point too. Oops. Nice and thin. A little bit broke off right there. But hey, it's going in a case. I mean, with it being a bifurcated point like that, it's probably 8,000-9,000 years old probably. This piece here is really, really cool. It's an argillite piece. And anybody that flint naps knows argillite's almost impossible to work. And this is probably my nicest piece I have out of argillite. I'll have to get out all my argillite pieces and do a video on that just to show you that what I'm talking about. I mean, it's a very, very hard material, very, very difficult to work. And for a piece to turn out this nice is just amazing. And it's ground. I believe this could have been, may have very well been a spear point because it's ground all the way up here. It's ground all the way from here down on both sides. And then you had this much that would have stuck out. Now, I would think if it was a knife blade, they'd only ground it to here so they had more. But I could be wrong too. Maybe it is a knife blade. But the thing is with Archaic pieces, it's so hard to tell the time frame that it comes from, because again, it's just very difficult to work. You got a decent basic shape, you're in business, But with it being ground all the way up to here, yeah, it could have been paleo, it could have been early archaic, and I believe it may have actually been a spear point. But it could have been a knife blade as well. I'll never truly know that, but nonetheless, it's a nice piece. This piece here come out of that same field. You could see it's just a flake. All they did was they took a flake. There's your bulb of force right here. See that little hump? There's your bulb of force. That was the platform. They struck this flake off and then just worked the edges on it. Made a nice little point out of it. Nice little arrowhead. Pretty cool. These two come out of the same field. I found this one first, and then I found this one about 50 feet later. So, and this one come out of the same field as this one and that one. It's a nice little Adena type point. Material's nice and waxy. Could be hornstone. I'm not 100% sure. Mike's more of a expert on material than I am. Although I am in the process of learning it all from him, increasing my knowledge. It has really nice edge work on it. See all them little waves. See if it'll focus. There we go. Get you a good close-up of that. Nice little stem point. This would have been woodland era, so probably 1,500 to 3,000 years ago. And this was the find of the spring. This come out of the same field as that did. Maybe, I don't know. I think that's it. But I didn't get a chance to film this. It was early morning when I found it. I found it almost, probably 10 minutes into the hunt. And I had forgotten my phone back at the truck. So Mike filmed it and put it on his TikTok. And somebody on his TikTok, one of his followers on TikTok, called it a Scott's Bluff. But we don't find Scott's Bluffs in our area. This is almost like for us in Ohio, this was an Ohio find. So this would almost be like a lancelet, like paleo lancelet type point. I know it's got little shoulders on it, but it's not an Adena because, it's not. But it's probably like a paleo type piece. Maybe Commissioner Tom could shed a little more light on that because he's an Ohio hunter. But I've looked up Scott's Bluffs and they look just like this, but we don't call them that in our area. Much like Clovis points, in Ohio they're called Ohio fluted points. They're not called Clovises, even though that's what they are. So I don't know. That's why I don't get into typing the points too much, because you can find it on one side of the street and it's called this, and then on the other side of the street it's called something else. So that's why I like time frames much better. But this thing is just amazingly worked. And that was worked like this. That little divot right there, that's no damage to it. All the patina is exactly the same. That was worked like that. This is in my opinion, probably at least a G9, if not a G10 point. There's absolutely zero damage done. And this was found in heavier dirt. I'm just blown away that this thing survived in a little bit heavier dirt. Like I said, it's it's perfect. It's a perfect point. Whoever napped this was a true master of the craft, you know. I mean, just everything is, the lines are so straight. I mean, it's so symmetrical. It's a work of art. It really is. And this was probably, this could have been an atlatl dart blade, or it could have been a, you know, a knife blade, because it is kind of heavy and it is kind of long, you know, so that is a debatable thing. But either way, I just wanted to show everybody my finds this spring. Fall's right around the corner. Fall hunt's only a few months away to start. Hopefully we get a good wet fall so we can get in early and find stuff early. If not, we'll be tearing it up in the spring. That's all worked that way. There's nothing broke off of it. 100% point. So hopefully we can get in the fall, start getting some videos out and finding, saving some history. If not, we'll be hitting it hard in the spring. So real quick before I go, make sure you find my other channel by the same name, Chip Corner Notch. When I did a smartphone switch, I lost access to that account. That's why I had to start a new channel under the same name. So if you subscribe to my other channel, please subscribe to this one. This is the one I'm going to be working off of now, and I would appreciate it. You know, I enjoy sharing history with people that enjoy learning about it. So if you know anybody that's interested, please send them my way. Leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to get back with you. Everybody, have a nice weekend, and hopefully I'll be showing you some finds real soon. All right. Bye-bye.